bound and gagged in the back of a van driven by a supposedly dead bada from another soap before escaping, stalking, and then reuniting with her long-lost sister.
Yep.
Coronation Street's Jodie Ramsay certainly debuted with a big old bang. Though Graham pursued Jod to the hospital after she fled his van. A discovery of his own meant he terminated the deal he had in place, transporting her to God knows where. When she came across her sister Shaw Platt and her husband David Jack P. Shepherd, she followed them home to Weatherfield, where we learned that Jod is Shaw's sister. Initially, it seemed that Jod was overjoyed at the reunion. "I can't help thinking there's a reason I found you again," she said. "Like the universe bringing us together or something." As upcoming scenes will show, though, Jod's clearly not ready to forgive and forget Shaw leaving her behind all those years ago. She's a complicated character, and she comes with a lot of baggage. Corrie boss Kate Brooks explained to us. Their relationship as sisters is quite fraught, and there's a lot of history between them. There's some kind of deep-seated resentment there as well. They love each other. They do have that bond, and even though they've been estranged for a number of years, that bond is still very strong. Jod is a really interesting character. She's a bit of a troublemaker. She's got a bit of mischief in her eyes. All is not what it seems with Jod, and there's a lot of layers to her. I think the audience are going to have a lot of fun unraveling who this person is, who Jod is as a character, and what she wants as well. Keep an eye on her because there's lots of secrets to explode, and she's going to bring an awful lot of drama to the Platt household. Fans have certainly clocked Jod's D already. And the common consensus is that there's much more to her than meets the eye, with viewers flocking to social media to compare theories regarding her true intentions when it comes to Shaw. She will make a play for David. Shaw gonna find out about what she's up to and why she's suddenly there. Posited Annie Fielding, suspecting that Jod could potentially look to snare Shona's husband as revenge. Doris Yankee agreed. "I think she fancies David and wants Shona's life." While Elizabeth Allen further commented, "She seems very jealous of Shona." In a callback to one of the best 90s thrillers, Alex Searson mused, "Jod wants David and maybe Shona's life in a single white female kind of way." As dark as those suggestions are, Fair and Calloway went even darker. Seems overly interested in the baby. As trafficking is big storyline over both soaps, Corrie and Erdale, she could be after selling baby to clear debts, with Victor Dabinet replying that would explain a lot. She bargained to go free. I don't watch Erdale, so I'm just going on why she was tied up. Did she get free? Run, see Shona, get caught again and think fast? Mickey Morton came out of left field with his guess. It's not her sister. Jodie will be her daughter. Backed up by Lee Smith. It's her daughter. In fairness, that would be textbook soap. Speaking on the reveal of her sister, Shaw actress Julia said, "We know nothing of Shaw's family at all. I mentioned that I had a sister in one of my first weeks when Shona and Gail were chatting, and we've never heard anything since. But I think the reason we've not heard much is she carries a lot of guilt for leaving, because Jod was 6 I think when she left, and they were really tight, and she cared a lot about her. But I think she had to choose her own peace first to survive the world that she was living in with a really controlling father. And I don't think she had any intention of never going back for her. I think as time went on it just got harder and harder. So, yeah, she carries a lot of guilt." Jod's arrival coinciding with the birth of Shaw's unwell daughter Harper and tying into the traumatic Corrie Dale crash has left her with her plate piled high, according to Juliet. She is exhausted, she's just been in a crash, she's just given birth, she is emotionally exhausted, she nearly lost her husband and her child, and then this blast from the past comes in, and she genuinely just says, "I can't deal with this right now." It's not a rejection, but just give me space for a minute, and I love that. Because I thought, yeah, actually there's not much room in her head at the moment for Jod to be there. Not that Jod listens. She just carries on, pushes through. So Shaw is kind of forced in a way to make way for Jod in her life again. Silly thing that doesn't go well. The fluorescent hum of the neonatal intensive care unit flickered and died, plunging the room into a suffocating darkness just as Jodie Ramsay's hand hovered inches from the oxygen valve of her newborn niece's incubator. For a heart-topping second, the red emergency light bathed her face in a demonic crimson wash, capturing a smile that was not maternal, but predatory before the backup generators kicked in and the machines resumed their arrhythmic, life-sustaining beeping. It was a moment that went unseen by the nurses stationed at the desk down the hall, and certainly unseen by Shaw, who was currently slumped in a plastic chair in the waiting room, fighting the heavy eyelids of exhaustion. But in that split second of darkness, the true nature of the reunion had revealed itself. Jodie wasn't just a sister seeking sanctuary. She was a wolf who had found her way into the sheepfold, and she was starving. The air in the hospital ward was thick with the scent of antiseptic and stale anxiety. Jodie pulled her hand back as the light stabilized, her eyes starting toward the corridor. The vulnerability of the infant, Harper, did not elicit the coo of an ant, but the calculation of an actuary assessing a high-value asset. The debt she owed to the faceless monsters who had orchestrated her initial capture in the lingering threat of Graham Foster hung over her like a guillotine blade. She needed currency, and in the grim economy of her world, innocence was the highest denomination. Jodie smoothed her hair, checking her reflection in the glass of the incubator. The resemblance to Shona was undeniable, a biological mirror that she intended to exploit to its fullest potential. She adjusted the collar of the jacket she had borrowed from Shaw's house earlier that day. It smelled of cheap perfume and dog hair, the scent of a domestic life she had been denied. A life Shona had stolen for herself by running away. "You have no idea how lucky you are, little thing," Jodie whispered to the sleeping infant, her voice a silken thread of malice. "Your mommy left me to rot, but I'm going to make sure you serve a much greater purpose." Outside the room, Shaw Plant jerked awake, her heart hammering against her ribs. A mother's intuition, sharp and primal, had pierced through the fog of her fatigue. She rubbed her face, her skin feeling papery and bruised from the trauma of the crash. The guilt that Julia Goulding had spoken of, the heavy suffocating blanket of the past, was currently battling with a fierce present tense terror. She stood up, her joints popping, and hurried toward the NICU, a frantic need to see her daughter propelling her forward. When Shona burst into the room, she found Jodie standing by the window, looking out at the rain-slicked streets of Weatherfield. The picture of the concerned aunt. "Jodie?" Shaw breathed, her hand clutching her chest. I don't know. Is she okay?" Jodie turned, her expression morphing instantly into one of soft concern. The transition was seamless, a terrifying testament to her ability to wear emotions like costumes. "She's perfect. Just sleeping. I was just telling her about her Andy, Jodie, about how much fun we're going to have." Shona exhaled, the tension leaving her shoulders but settling in the pit of her stomach. "You shouldn't be here, Jodie. The nurses and David. He's barely holding it together. We need space." "Space," Jod repeated, the word tasting sour. She stepped closer to Shona, invading her personal radius. "You took a lot of space when you left, didn't you? Left a big empty hole where sister should have been. Now I'm just trying to fill the gaps." There was a glint in Jod's eyes, a mischief that Kate Brooks had warned was dangerous. It wasn't playful. It was manic. Shaw stepped back, her back hitting the door frame. "I told you I had to survive," Shaw pleaded, her voice cracking. "Dad would have killed me. He would have killed both of us if I tried to take you then. I came back, Jodie. I tried." "Did you?" Jod's voice dropped to a whisper, cold as the grave. She reached out and tucked a stray lock of hair behind Shaw's ear. The gesture intimate yet threatening. "Or, did you find this?" She gestured to the hospital room, implying the family, the husband, the life. "Did you find David and forget that I was still in that house, waiting for a savior who never came?" Before Shaw could answer, the door swung open. David Platt entered, looking like a man walking through a nightmare. His eyes were hollowed out, dark circles bruising the skin beneath him. He stopped when he saw Jodie, his brow furrowing. For a fleeting second in the dim light, he mistook the silhouette for his wife. "Shona," the doctor said. David started, then paused as the real Shona stepped into the light. He looked between them, the visual echo disorienting him. "Right, Jodie, you're still here." "Just keeping watch over the little princess, David," Jodie said, turning the wattage of her smile up for him. It was a dazzling practice thing. Shona looks like she's about to collapse. I told her I'd take a shift. We're family after all. That's what we do. David looked at Shona, seeing the sheer exhaustion etched into her features. He didn't trust Jod. His instincts, honed by years of Weatherfield drama, were twitching, but he was too tired to fight a war on two fronts. Shona, maybe you should go home. Get a few hours, David suggested softly, though his eyes remained fixed on Jod with weary suspicion. I'm not leaving, Harper. Shaw snapped, the fear flaring up again. I can take her home, Jod interjected smoothly. I can go back to the house, tidy up. Make sure everything is ready for her when you bring the baby home. I can cook. I make a mean lasagna, David. Better than Shaw's, actually. Daddy used to say Shona would burn water. The reference to their father hung in the air like a noxious gas. Shona flinched. Jodie saw the hit land and savored it. I'm not leaving, Shona repeated, but her legs were trembling. Go, Jodie commanded, her voice suddenly firm, authoritative. I'll stay here with David. We can get to know each other. Catch up on all the things my big sister never told him about me. The threat was veiled, but palpable. Leave me alone with your husband, or I start spilling secrets. Shaw looked at David, then at Harper, and finally at Jod. She was trapped. If she pushed Jod away now,